I'm Kokiniwa.
I'm Jean Monteiro.
This is Sun Chen.
Alex Robino.
Mltt, and I come from Serbia.
Very excited and looking forward to play season 3 of Major League Table Tennis.
I'm very happy to join Major League Table Tennis.
Because I love the atmosphere there. I love the show, how it's going.
I find very exciting and thrilling the system of the game and the matches.
The commitment of the players, the teams, the team spirit. So I love everything about MLTT.
This is what modern table tennis league should be.
To give something also from my side.
I think it's very important that we promote professional table tennis all around the world.
I'm only focusing on table tennis, so I'm practicing every day.
I try to give always my best for my team.
I hope that I can bring my China Pim's attack style to the MLTT.
Please watch the game and support me.
Thank you, and I hope to see you in draft.
Welcome to the Season 3 MLTT Draft. Hi, everybody. I am Evan Lepler. Thrilled to be joined by the Hall of Famer, Sean O'Neill. And Sean, today, over the next 90 minutes, we have the honor of welcoming the next 34 table tennis talents into the MLTT family. Season 3, just a few months away, starting in September. But the shape of the rosters will largely be determined by what happens here today, and it's a very exciting day both for us and the future stars in our league. What are your foremost thoughts as we get rolling here today?
Well, just the players get better every single season, so I'm looking forward to seeing more international stars. Got some rule changes coming up, which the coaches are going to have to be aware of to make sure that they don't miss out on those small little details that really make the difference coming into the finals.
Well, it was just a few weeks ago, the Carolina Gold Rush took the Season 2 title with the first ever #1 overall pick, Enzo Angles, helping to lead the way, who will join Enzo Angles and Liam Pitchford as the third ever #1 overall picks. We're a few minutes away from finding that out. To officially get the festivities started, it is my distinct honor to welcome in the founder and commissioner of Major League Table Tennis. Here's Flint Lane.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Sean. I am excited to kick off the 2025 Major League Table Tennis Draft. We have an unbelievable pool of talent. 150 players from 45 countries have registered for the draft. We have 34 spots to fill across our 8 existing teams and our 2 expansion teams. With that, I will kick off the draft. The Atlanta Blazers have the first pick. You are on the clock.
All right, the Blazers are on the clock. Here's the big board, Sean. And last week, the expansion draft started to flesh out these rosters and change the league a little bit. Let's talk about the Blazers and the slice, the 8 players that they took. And obviously, 8 players will join these teams. The Blazers up first have 5 spots to fill. What were your thoughts on the expansion draft with Jeet Chandra, Tom Feng, and Jiwei Shah becoming the first 3 members of the Blazers?
Well, I was really excited to see Jeet get picked up. He played so well at the end of the season. He really put himself in a position to be, I guess, a future star. He's already a star right now, but he played so well in those last matches. I think grabbing the Americans is something that Coach Susie wanted to make sure that she had a full range of options to go for the international players in the main draft.
And as we just kind of set the tone for today, what are the biggest storylines that you'll have your eyes on as teams try to build their rosters? Obviously, there are rules about each team needs at least 1 female. Each team needs at least 3 players who are American. So there's a lot going into how coaches will try to build their teams, both to be within the rules and to try to be the best version of themselves and compete for a championship next year.
Well, my big storyline is the Carolina Gold Rush. They're going to have to replace Hong Lin, MVP season 1, critical player in season 2, but also they're going to be replacing Ida, a co-MVP. And don't forget, Roman Lorenz is now moving over to the LA Spinners. So Carolina has a lot of action to expect today. But no, I'm really going to be interested to see how Coach Alex navigates the waters here.
Two American players on each roster, and we are just about ready to find out who will be the number one pick in the draft. Flint Lane, let us know.
With the first pick of the 2025 Major League Table Tennis Draft, the Atlanta Blazers select Yuya Oshima. New York Slice are now on the clock.
Yuya Oshima, the 31-year-old from Japan, becomes the first overall pick in our third season draft. Japanese players have had a lot of success in this league, from Hiramitsu Kasahara and Koyo Kanamitsu in season 1 and season 2. Satoshi Ida obviously was a star for the Champion Gold Rush in season 2. Sean, how familiar are you with Yuya? What are the Blazers getting with Oshima?
With Oshima, you've got a complete package. Great singles, great doubles, very strong footwork, which is a trademark of all Japanese players. So he's going to have a lot of options to go with. I think probably Coach Susie was looking even at availability. That's something that the coaches have to really play with, because some of these players have national team responsibilities. So to make sure that the players can be there for all matches as well as the championship finals.
We will talk to each of the 10 coaches today after they make their final pick. So Coach Susie Battison, the first ever leader of the Atlanta Blazers, still with work to do, 4 more picks to make. But Yuya Oshima joins Chandra, Feng, and Shah. That's the first half of the Blazers roster. Now for the first ever New York Slice draft pick, number 2 overall. Here's Flint.
With the second pick of the MLTT 2025 draft, the New York Slice select Koki Niwa. Portland Paddlers are now on the clock.
Well, Koki Niwa, a really highly rated, talented left-hander from Japan. That's back-to-back Japanese players off the board. Sean, Koki Niwa has been a member of the Japanese national team for a long time, one of the stronger table tennis countries in the world. What do you expect from Koki in MLTT?
I think he's going to battle Mark Durant for the highlight plays of the day each and every time he goes out on the court. He's a former Youth Olympics champion, junior world champion, amazing player, left-handed, covers the table while he's up at the table and off the table with hands of lightning speed that you've never seen. Not a surprise at all that Adam Hugh, coach of the Slice, took him in that second pick.
So that's 6 players of the Slice that you see. Tao Zhang, the former Bay Area Blaster. Ha Cheng Wang came from Portland. Amir Hodai was a first-round pick in the draft last year for the Texas Smash. And then Caden Zhu and Jishan Liang. What do you think of the roster that Adam Hugh is building?
I think he's got some really nice stalwarts with, do we have a pick coming in right now?
Yeah, you can finish your thought.
Okay. I think he's got experience, especially within the MLTT system, but then he also has with Koki Niwa. I mean, I can't wait. He's going to battle my favorite player with Benedict Ola with just his abilities to be up at the table. An amazing player.
All right, first 2 picks are off the board. Now we go to Flint. The Portland Paddlers have the selection at number 3.
With the third pick, the Portland Paddlers select Min Hyuk Kim. Princeton Revolution are now on the clock.
So Min Hyuk Kim, the 28-year-old from South Korea, joins Christian Lily Rose's Portland Paddlers. The Paddlers won the draft lottery among the non-playoff teams this season to earn the right to pick third. And Sean, the Paddlers, were really strong this year. They faded a little bit late, but with the roster that they've got coming back, only taking 2 players in the draft, how do you feel Min Hyuk Kim fits into this group?
Well, Kim, like most all the Asian players, great footwork, a lot of firepower. can really add a lot more to the slightly older and seasoned team that Portland has, being headed up by Jens Lundqvist, Nordberg. Of course, Portland made that trade to get Sid Naresh, who really came on strong at the end of the season, and they have two very solid women players.
Yeah, for those who hadn't heard, the third ever trade in MLTT history just unfolded in the last week. Sid Naresh traded to Portland for Wei Wong, who's now a member of the Carolina Gold Rush. And the Princeton Revolution are on the clock next. Benedict Ola, you've said many times, is your favorite player in the league. Let's find out who's going to join Matthias Habasson in Princeton with the fourth pick in the draft. Here's Flint.
With the fourth pick, the Princeton Revolution select Cho Sung Min. Los Angeles Spinners are now on the clock.
Cho Sung Min, another Korean and another lefty. So that's a pair of Japanese players and a pair of South Koreans off the board in the first four picks, Sean. Obviously, Asia is known for developing table tennis talent, and we are seeing more come to the United States to be a part of Major League Table Tennis. What should we know about Cho Sung Min?
Well, I think with Cho Sung Min, you're going to see a very strong doubles player. And with doubles rules changing, where the server can serve anywhere on the table, that lefty is going to be worth their weight in gold. Very important to have somebody who can double up in singles and in doubles.
So Cho Sung Min joins Ola Wong, Kanemitsu, DeSantalan, and Guo as the returners. And we chug right along. The LA Spinners moving to Los Angeles from Seattle will make the fifth pick. The pick is in. Flint Lane, do the honor.
With the fifth pick, the Los Angeles Spinners select Alexander Robino. The Bay Area Blasters are now on the clock.
Alexandre Robino joins the Spinners. Certainly a French connection with the new coach Romain Lawrence, bringing one of his countrymen to Los Angeles. French players have been very successful in Major League Table Tennis over the last couple of years, Sean. Do you see Robino as kind of the next member of that group?
Absolutely. I mean, a very strong player, playing extremely a lot all throughout Europe. So he has a lot of experience there. You can see on these great clips, strong forehand play, all court player. He should be a welcome addition to joining Coach Roman.
And that highlight, we saw Robino out dueling Roman's former Gold Rush teammate Enzo Angles. So there's certainly some familiarity there, and be a fun matchup to watch. All right, we're continuing to just groove along. The Bay Area Blasters will make two of the next three selections. That's a result of the trade that they made in the middle of season 2 to acquire Florida's first round pick. So the first of the Blasters' first rounders, number 6 overall. The pick is in. Flint?
With the sixth pick, the Bay Area Blasters select Huang Yan Cheng. Chicago Wind are now on the clock.
Well, the young righty from Taiwan, Huang Yang Cheng, joins Tae-Yoon Kim, the Season 2 co-MVP, at the top of the Blasters roster. And Sean, I mean, we thought when Bay Area acquired the first round pick from the Crocs in the middle of the season that it was going to be a big deal. Now, as you look at the roster coming together now for Coach Tim Wong, I mean, how big of a deal exactly was that trade, and the fact that the Blasters are going to be on the clock again here shortly?
No, I think it was a very strategic and very smart choice by Olympian Tim Wong to go that route. I think they're showing with this Chang pick, going youth, trying to stay, again, balanced with Saeed Lachine. You've got the experience with Lily Jung. You can't say enough about that. American champion, Olympian. But right now, Bay Area Blasters, they're going to be back on the board in 2 picks.
Yeah, Chicago is currently on the clock. The Blasters edged Chicago in the third place match. Bay Area has actually finished third in each of the first 2 seasons. Meanwhile, Chicago advanced to championship weekend for the first time this past year, falling short in the semifinals in a really thrilling match. But Eric Owens bringing back 6 of the 8 players that he had last year. So only 2 selections for the Wind to make today. When you look at the season 3 draft and you compare it to season 1 and season 2 and the choice to retain 6 players, when you kind of put it all together, what are your thoughts on Chicago's roster and where they're going from here?
I think there's a balance of teamwork and also, I'm going to say, no drama. You want to have players, and this is where Carolina has really excelled. Players that are going to be able to show up on every single championship match weekend, because if they're not available, they're actually not on your team. So I think Coach Owens, he's definitely looking forward to making sure that he has that team oriented effort.
Let's find out who the Wind have taken, Flint.
With the 7th pick, the Chicago Wind have selected Robert Gartos. Bay Area Blasters are back on the clock.
So Robert Gardos from Austria, age 46. So he joins El Sayed Lachine and Jens Lundqvist as the elder statesman in the league, but clearly Eric Owens believes that Robert still has plenty of fuel in the tank. Sean, what should folks know about this Austrian who's obviously been playing table tennis for a long time?
Consummate professional, slightly older version of Enzo Angles. Great table tennis mind, great coach. He's going to bring a lot to the team from stability. I think that Coach Owens wanted to make sure that he had a person who could be not necessarily his right-hand man, but add a lot of value, especially during those timeouts that are so critical in MLTT.
All right, there's the sound. The Bay Area Blasters about to make their 2nd pick of the 1st round. Here's the commish, Flint Lane.
With the 8th pick, the Bay Area Blasters select Chi Ge. Texas Smash are now on the clock.
So the first Chinese player taken today is Chi Ge, the 26-year-old righty. Blasters roster after taking Ge. It is an interesting group for the Blasters, and only one more pick for them to make.
Yeah, no, they're filling up their team really nicely. I just like the balance that Coach Tim Wong has with older, younger, shake hands pen holder. Tai Yun Kim, how great did he play at the end of the season? Co MVP. So I think Bay Area Blasters are looking very strong here in season 3.
Only one more pick. It'll be 18th overall, their 2nd round selection. And 2 more picks in the 1st round. The 2 teams that met in the championship game. The 2 champions in the history of MLTT. Texas won it in season 1, falling to Carolina in the finals in season 2. The Smash obviously had a couple of players plucked from their roster in the expansion draft, with Amir Hodai and Jeet Chandra getting taken by the Blazers and Slice. So a lot of work to replenish the championship contending squad for Jorg Bitzigayo. But the pick is in 9th overall. Flint Lane, let us know.
With the 9th pick, the Texas Smash have selected Joao Montero. Carolina Gold Rush are now on the clock.
Joao Montero, 41 years old, from Portugal. We heard from Joao in the open to the show, certainly expressed plenty of enthusiasm. What are the Smash getting in this Portuguese southpaw?
Again, a lot of experience. Lefty, really critical for doubles. European experience, European strong results, especially in doubles play. Definitely feel like Texas made a great selection there.
Jorg Bitzigayo looking a lot like Matthias Habasson. Matthias, you look good. Jorg, if we could see you, I'm sure you'd be smiling as well. Montero goes to the Smash, and obviously Texas with some work to do. There were 2 teams of the 10 in the league that were only selecting 2 players today, and then other teams that were selecting as many as 5 players to fill out their 8-person rosters. As now we see Jorg, Kasahara Macbeth, Nanda Naresh, and Amy Wong, the returners for the Smash. And It's going to be interesting to see Texas in their new look after a couple players got taken in the expansion draft. Let's close out the first round, find out who's joining the champs. Flint?
With the 10th pick of the Atlanta Blazers are back on the clock.
MLTT. Siu Hong Lam, 28-year-old righty, and facing both Satoshi Ida and Hong Lin, stepping into some pretty big shoes with the reigning champions.
No, absolutely. And I think Coach Alex always enjoys being able to speak in his natural tongue to one of his players. So I think that that was one of the concerns and one of the opportunities for him to get a strong Chinese Hong Kong player to add value to the team.
So Lam, Wong, Angles, Wong, Lee, and Zhang, the 6 players currently on the Carolina roster. And in the second round, teams will only have 2 minutes to make selections. Although, let's be honest, the picks have been coming in hot and heavy. No one has used the full 4 minutes so far. We go into the second round, and it is the Atlanta Blazers who took a Japanese player number 1. Let's see who Susie Battison wants with her second pick here in the season 3 draft. Flint Lane, let's get round 2 underway.
With the 11th pick of the draft, the Atlanta Blazers select Yu Kayama. New York Slicer now on the clock.
So another Japanese player to the Blazers, Yu Kayama, a lefty, young kid, number 23 years old. So that's 2 Japanese players to the Blazers. Sean?
Yeah, no, not a big surprise. You got to check off that left-handed because of the new doubles format where a player or a team can serve anywhere. I can't imagine 2 righties having the same advantage as a righty-lefty combo. So for Coach Susie getting you, a very strong lefty, I think that's going to really balance out. And you do notice that there's some Japanese, and don't forget, Ji-Wei Shaw speaks Japanese. So he's going to have some added value there as not only one of the American players, but also somebody who can help with the translations.
No doubt Ji-Wei trained and played in Japan for a long time as a young player. All right, the second pick in the second round belongs to the New York Slice. With 5 picks made in the expansion draft and 1 earlier, only 2 spots left to fill for Adam Hugh and New York's inaugural season in MLTT. The pick is in. We send it to the commissioner, Flint Lane.
With the 12th pick, the New York Slice select Yuran Wu. The Portland Paddlers are now on the clock.
So the second player from China off the board so far in this draft, Yuran Wu, 26 years old from China, the country where table tennis has become the national sport, the national pastime, and Chinese players always seem to be well trained, fundamentally sound, and really, really steady and solid. What are the Slice getting in Yuran Wu?
I just think a young gun with a lot of power, somebody who's going to hopefully complement Koki Niwa in the AB slot. If you notice the number of players from Ji Shanliang to Caden Shu, Hao Chang Wang, Tao Wenjiang, a lot of Chinese players, which not a surprise. Adam Hugh, national team member, played extensively internationally, played in China. His mom, Lily Yip, a Hall of Famer herself, also 2-time Olympian. So I think it's going to be a very strong Asian-based team coming out of New York with the Slice.
Yeah, interesting. Only one spot to fill. Here's the big board, and there's only 1 spot to fill on the Portland Paddlers roster. The 13th overall pick belongs to Christian Lilyrose and the Paddlers. Already 2 females on the roster, so would expect this to be a male player. Katomi Amoda and Rachel Sung returning from season 2. And it is interesting to just look at this board now and then imagine what it'll look like an hour from now as it gets completely fleshed out. Basically a third of the way through the season 3 draft right now, Sean. 34 picks to be taken. 12 already gone. Are there any names that are still on the board that you are eager to see where they go and to find out where they're going to
Yeah,
go?
it's going to be interesting. I mean, we have such a large pool of international players. The big ones for me have already been taken. So I think it's going to be a lot more role players, whether specifically for a team needing a strong female, since the females will be playing each other here in season 3. Now they can play against the men in the golden game, but in singles play, the women will go head to head this time. So would not be surprised if more women go. And I think Portland has a very strong strategy with having two in case there's any hiccups where there's scheduling or maybe an injury. It's going to be very interesting to see what comes in the next round.
One thing we have seen is players picked beyond the first and second round absolutely can make a strong impact, not just from a depth standpoint, but from becoming team leaders in the AB slots. All right, let's find out who's the final member of the 2025-26 Portland Paddlers roster. Flint with a 13th pick.
Yes, apologies for those folks watching on the stream. We're having a few technical difficulties that we believe we've sorted out. With the 13th pick, the Portland Paddlers have selected Kang Dong-soo. Princeton Revolution are on the clock.
So Kang Dong-soo joins the Portland Paddlers, another South Korean player. Kind of been the story of the draft. Players from South Korea, Japan, and China, along with the Hong Kong player going. That has been the story of the first 13 picks, Sean. What should we know about Kang Dong-soo?
Yeah, well, I think that the big thing is just right now, a lot more Asian players are joining teams. I think what happened was season 1, a lot of European players were kind of, hey, this looks interesting. The whole world has watched Major League Table Tennis without any doubt. But in season 2, a lot of the Asian players that did well sent information back to their clubmates, teammates saying, hey, you got to get over here for MLTT. So I think that's the reason we're seeing so many Asians, South Korea, Japan, and China here in the draft number 3.
Well, the first interview of our show, can't imagine anyone other than Christian Lily Rose. Christian, thanks for being with us. So last year you took 2 Swedes with your first 2 selections. This year, 2 players from South Korea. What was it like preparing for the draft, and what made Kim and Sue the 2 players that you feel fit best with your team going forward?
In terms of the preparation for the draft, it was very tricky with many sequences this year. The expansion draft, trading, how many players do I keep afterwards was a lot of components that made this year very interesting picks, which was very different compared to what we did last year when we had 5 picks. So at the end of the day, when we decided to have secure our women, we have 2 women, we have American players going in, so we can focus 100% on strong international males. So we just made a list of, the people we can do, and we ended up with the double Korean. We had Wei Wong last year. He did really good, especially in the last part of the season. We like choppers. Now we have Kang Dong-soo, chopper, a very exciting player, good offense, good defense, good availability. And we have good reports of Kim. We think that he's going to be a good resource, be able to challenge the top players in the league. So we are super happy with our picks.
Christian, with the
Quick question.
with the 3rd pick in the first round and then the 3rd pick in the second round, has what's transpired so far gone according to your plan? How many players did you have in mind as players that you could potentially take? And, are you surprised to get the 2 players you got, or was this the plan?
I would say that this was probably the most expected and the best thing that we could have gotten. I mean, we were discussing, we have a group of the players that came in from last year, we discussed in the draft that we were thinking this is the dream picks that we can get pretty much. So we are really happy with this. We made an outline of 13 players that we can get, and Kang Dong was was our number 7. So we were really happy on that list.
So Christian, just going a little bit into the weeds, getting Sid Naresh, big swap there. What role do you see him playing? He played big in Golden Games early in season 2. Where do you see him fitting into the Paddlers?
Well, first of all, Sid is a young gun. I like Sid very much. He's a very good team player, great team spirit. I think he's also, our second American after Nikhil. So Americans are very important in the draft. It's very difficult to get good Americans. So Sid is also young. He will be better in the future. So he's a good part of our team. But I think it's clearly, I think him as a doubles player. He already played doubles good in Carolina last season. So I'd be thinking more of him as a doubles player.
All right, Christian, your work is done. Congratulations on finishing up the season 3 draft. Look forward to seeing you and the Paddlers in September. We heard the chime letting us know that the next pick is in. It belongs to the Princeton Revolution, and Flint Lane will make the announcement.
With the 14th pick, the Princeton Revolution have selected Hsien-Su Cheng. The Los Angeles Spinners are now on the clock.
Another Taiwanese player, the 32-year-old right-hander Hsien-Su Cheng, becomes the second female player on the Revolution roster, joining Zhengshang Guo. Cheng joins the Revolution, Sean.
Yeah, I think they're kind of taking a page out of Portland's playbook to have 2 strong women players. You always want to make sure that you have at least one player in case they're unavailable to be able to come back. Jinshin Guo played amazing in season 2, but to have that second female player gives them a lot of options.
So we'll talk to Matthias in just a little bit. He's still got one more pick to make, reviewing all of his draft boards and studying all the analytics for sure. To the 15th pick, Roman Lorenz's Spinners are back on the clock. And the Spinners have as much work left to do in this draft as anybody, as they try to build forward. Only 3 players returning from last year: Kole Lubopiste and Adi Serene. And the pick is in, number 15 overall to LA. Flint Lane ready for the announcement.
With the 15th pick, the Los Angeles Spinners select Choi Hyo-ju. Florida Crocs are now on the clock.
So there's your lefty to LA, Choi Hyo-ju. You've said, Sean, that lefties are really valuable for a variety of reasons, especially with a rule change concerning the doubles. Open serve, you can go either side. That's a big change this year. How does this Chinese Roman Lorenz's first ever Spinners score?
Today, without bringing Choi in is going to help. As a lefty, that's going to throw. I'm not sure if they'll throw her into the doubles. There's an option there. I think her left-handedness will help in Golden Game to present a different view, but she's going to be battling all the other strong women in the league when the women have to play player to player. So I really do consider LA moving down from Seattle kind of a wild card here because they're top 3 with that are coming back super strong players. I mean, Pushtai played amazing. Serene continues to improve. And Kole, I mean, what can you say? Season 1, he was so dominant.
No doubt about it. So the Spinners with 2 selections done and 3 more to go. Up next, we will see the Florida Crocs for the first time in this draft. And, they did not have a first-round pick, as we mentioned, but Frank Arias does have a talented foundation with last year's number 1 pick, Liam Pitchford, coming back. Mark Duran received MVP votes this year, did not win the award, but had more singles games won than anybody. So the Florida Crocs have an interesting base, and what do you see them trying to add to their squad as we get ready for season 3? Well, let's hold that thought. We'll get your reaction to the pick. Frank Arias has made his selection. We're about to find out with Flint who it is.
With the 16th pick, the Florida Crocs have selected Peiyu Zhu. Chicago Wind are now on the clock.
So Pei, 4-year-old lefty from China, joins the Crocs. And this is a Florida team that relied on Matilda Ekholm to fill that female slot each of the past 2 years. And a different look in 2026. Sean, how familiar are you with Shu?
I mean, like all the top female players, especially from Asia, very strong fundamentals. You can see the attacking power as a lefty. So replacing Maddie, one of my favorites, with another lefty, I think they're just going primarily for youth. Matilda added so much spice and flair to MLTT. Be interesting if any of the teams pull her through the draft pool, or I should say through the reserve pool, if they're short of a player. But definitely the Crocs have a lot of firepower, especially with Liam Pitchford.
Pitchford, Duran, Gorak, and the second-year player Andy Pereira will be going into his second season. He was acquired from the Blasters in that trade, and the Crocs going forward. Many times, and they certainly have an excellent base. All right, the 17th pick belongs to the Chicago Wind. It'll be the final selection that Eric Owens will make in the Season 3 draft. The pick is in. Flint?
With the 17th pick, the Chicago Wind have selected Jungwoo Park. The Bay Area Blasters are on the clock.
So Jungwoo Park rounds out the Chicago Season 3 roster. 28-year-old lefty. And this is a Wind team that at times in Season 2, Sean, looked like perhaps Carolina's fiercest contender in pursuit of the championship. We bring in Eric Owens, the coach of Chicago. Eric, good to see you. Gardos and Park join the 6 players that you bring back. When you look at the 8 names on the screen and the squad that you've built, what stands out most when you add in these 2 new additions?
Yeah, I think we have a great team. I'm very, very excited about the new additions. I think we had a great team coming into Season 3. So now our team is just even better. And I feel like we've got a wide variety of styles, which for this league and the strategy and the tactics involved with the different picks for Golden Game, I think having a wide variety can be very, very tricky. And I love having many, many different tools. So I'm thrilled about the picks. I'm thrilled about the team chemistry. I think that's very, very important. And we'll see how it goes.
So, Eric, the one thing I do notice, you have got a ton of lefties. Do you think you might even throw 2 lefties into a doubles and see how that might be a monkey wrench for the opposing team?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are many unknowns with the new serve rules, which is exciting. And we have ideas about how the tactics will go. We have thoughts about it, but we don't truly know until we start playing. I think 2 lefties probably isn't the way to go, but you never know. And we might do something tricky and something fun in it. But I'm not even sure if it's truly doubles anymore. It almost seems like it's 2 versus 2, right? It's almost like a team match playing. And so we put a lot of thought into it, but I think this is a great rule change. I think it'll be a ton of fun and very exciting.
Any surprises to your draft, or is this kind of how you expected? Are these 2 of the players that you honed in on in your prep?
Yeah, we had a pretty good list. I would say it's gone, for the most part, fairly predictable. All of the really experienced top players went to the teams before us, so really no surprise there. I thought teams would probably be picking women a little bit earlier in the draft. That was sort of my feeling. That's what we did last year. We picked Mo Zong in the 2nd round, which proved to be a fantastic pick for us. But it's tricky because if you pick a strong woman in the 2nd round, then there's a trade-off for potentially a strong man. And so, it's interesting to see the various strategies out there. But for the most part, I think it went fairly predictable.
All right, Eric, your job is done for the day. You've got the team building process ahead. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in Season 3.
Yep.
All righty. The Bay Area Blasters are up next. They picked 2 players in the 1st round. Now let's find out who Tim Wong is adding in the 2nd round. Flint?
With the 18th pick, the Bay Area Blasters have selected Bak Kwang Il, Texas Smash are on the clock.
So Bak Kwang Il from South Korea joins the Blasters. And the Asian flavor of this Bay Area team only grows. Sean, how familiar are you with this particular South Korean? And this rounds out the roster. I'll get Sean's thoughts in a second. But Tim, your final pick. You add 3 players today to a team that has made the semifinals each of the past 2 seasons. What was it like preparing for the draft, and how do you feel about how things have transpired here to add these 3 players to your team?
Yeah, I'm quite excited for the upcoming season. We got 2 first-round draft picks. And yeah, Huang Yancheng was probably the first guy that I wanted. The first guy that I wanted on my team. And it was really important to have availability, as we saw in season 2. 4 out of the 6 matches we were using free agents. So yeah, this year I drafted a lot based off of availability and who can come, and also getting strong players as well. Chiga, she's also counts as an American as well. So yeah, I think with her penhold style, she can definitely do some damage there. And then Baek, he's South Korean also, and hearing that he's very good at doubles. I did a lot of research on him. And yeah, I'm really, really excited for the team. We have a very strong team, and we just added a few more players to make it even stronger.
Tim, I'm very interested to see Lily play more. In season 2, we didn't see enough of her, but even more so, for you to keep Lachine, tell us why you kept the elder statesman of MLTT.
Yeah, I think he's, like I've mentioned before, he's great for the team. He brings, a very good environment, very healthy, very happy. He has very good leadership skills, and also, I mean, he has one of the best stats for the Golden Games. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, let's say we get pick number 28. I think he's definitely a contender, and he's already been here for 2 seasons. He knows everybody on the team. He knows how the playing system works. So yeah, I think even to this day, he can still be valuable for our team.
All righty, Tim Wong, your work is done for the day. Thanks for joining us, and congrats on adding Huang, Chi, and Bak to your 2025-26 squad. We have crossed over the halfway point of the draft. 18 players have joined the MLTT family. 16 more names will be called, including the player about to be selected with the 19th pick. The Texas Smash have the selection, and the pick is in. Here's Flint.
With the 19th pick, the Texas Smash have selected Guodong Liang. Carolina Gold Rush are now on the clock.
Well, lefties and Asian players have been the theme of the draft so far. Young lefty from China, just 22 years old, joining Jorg Bitzigayo on the Smash. Sean, how does this fit into Montero in the 4 players they've got returning?
I think with the 2 lefties with Montero and Liang, Coach Jorg has options. Okay, that's what he loves. He likes to be able to move players around, see how they're playing. He likes younger players, gives them a lot of boost of energy. Also, easy to direct them as they're getting focused, especially for those playoff runs that they tend to do so well in Texas. So I think very good selection, but another lefty.
All right, final pick of the second round is in. It belongs to the champion Carolina Gold Rush. Flint Lane, take it away.
The 20th pick, the Carolina Gold Rush have selected Chen Sun. The Atlanta Blazers are now on the clock.
That's the final pick of round 2. Chen Sun, 28-year-old right-hander from China. Give us a scouting report, Mr. O'Neill.
Yeah, well, penhold player with a lot of power. You can see the serve on the near side, over the table, very strong. Needed a female replacement for Hong Lin. So I think they got their wish, and I definitely think that Chen Sung is going to bring a lot of power to the defending champs.
Yes, Hong Lin, the season 1 MVP for the Gold Rush, stepping away for personal reasons prior to the season 3 draft. So Chen Sun fills that hole in Carolina's roster. One more pick for Alex Yang to make. That'll be the 27th overall. But now we head into round 3, Sean, and as we've seen over the past couple of years, you know, championships in many ways are won by the depth pieces on the roster, the players that find their way into the CD slots and still get points for their teams. A lot of these players could be the third round selections. The Blazers were the first pick of the third round. Here's the commish with a pick.
With the 21st pick, the Atlanta Blazers select Andrea Todorovic. Princeton, New York Slice are now on the clock.
So Atlanta has its female player, Andrea Todorovic. Heard from her in the opening montage at the top of the show. Sean, how familiar are you with this Serbian who's joining the Blazers?
You can watch from the video, just really solid, tall shake hands player, a lot of control, both forehand power, backhand power, and again, a lot of experience in European league play. So the Blazers have their top female player, should be an interesting addition to the team.
So Susie Battison adding Yuya Oshima, Yukayama, and Andrea Todorovic with her first 3 picks, joining the 3 picks that she made in the expansion draft. We saw the 2 head coaches for Atlanta and New York take pretty different strategies in the expansion draft. There were 32-ish players available as each team could protect 4, and the Blazers obviously selecting 3 and then calling it a day. Adam Hugh, who's on the clock now for his next selection, in his final selection, because he drafted 5 players who were in the league last year. So only one more spot for Adam Hugh to fill on the first ever New York Slice roster. Anything as you look at that list that the Slice might be targeting here with their final pick?
I think right now the Slice are so excited to have Koki Niwa. I don't think Adam predicted that, but he quickly jumped on that opportunity based on Koki's amazing international results. But I think they're just trying to fill in some missing links here on these final picks, and I think the Slice are going to be ready for action in season 3.
All right, one more pick to be made. Adam Hugh has delivered it. Flint Lane will let us all know.
With the 22nd pick, the New York Slice have selected Choi Hyun. Princeton Revolution are now on the clock.
So Choi Hyun, another female player, goes to the New York Slice, young South Korean. And we have seen several teams try and create a good mix of players. Adam Hugh adding in a Japanese player, a Chinese player, and a South Korean player to the 5 MLTT returners that he took in the expansion draft. And we bring in the new head coach of the Slice. Adam, what has this day been like for you in terms of adding these 3 players to the first ever edition of the Slice?
Hi, sorry, me. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. As you noted, yeah, 1 Japanese player, 1 Chinese, 1 Korean. It was good to have a mix in case people had some different conflicts with the various leagues or tournaments they're playing. I'm very excited, obviously, to have the legendary Koki Niwa on the team. I don't think anyone would not want to have him. Iran, he's from China, but based in New York right now, plays a lot of domestic tournaments. And I think with that pick, for me, it was important to find someone that was dependable and can make all their matches because, the skill level is obviously going to be very high, but availability is also quite important. And with Choi, I mean, she's a very, very well played Korean player. She's doing well. She has different style. So I thought that would be a nice mix to match with the rest of my team.
Adam, again, kind of going into the weeds, you've got what I see are two amazing lefty players with Koki Niwa and Jishang Liang. Which ones do you think you'll favor, at least initially, for the doubles?
Yeah, I think right now it's it's going to be important to just see how everyone meshes together. I don't think I'm making any hard decisions at the moment. Get a chance to meet with the players, talk with them, and just go from there.
Adam, before we let you go, were you surprised that Koki Niwa was still available for you at number 2?
I think there was a chance that he would be. Oshima is also a legendary player himself, so those two seem to be the most likely top 2 picks. But I don't think anyone could go wrong with either one of those guys.
All right. Well, congratulations. You have your first ever 8-person roster of the New York Slice. Adam Hugh, thank you for joining us. We continue in round 3, Sean, the third pick of the third round, and it belongs to the Princeton Revolution. Flint Lane will let us know.
The 23rd pick, the Princeton Revolution, have selected Yang Shuao. The Los Angeles Spinners are on the clock.
So Yang Shuao, 24-year-old from China, joins the Revolution, adding into this Princeton roster that, of all the teams heading into the season 2 draft, Sean, the Revolution made the fewest picks here. Take on you and yours.
Yes, so I mean, it was very obvious in make a very strong first round pick. I mean, every team has to improve the level in the first round. That was for sure. And we had a little troubles last year in the bottom part of our team, so we just tried to adjust a little bit these situations. And I think we had really good talks with a lot of people in advance of the draft, and we got lucky, I think, and got really good players to our team.
Matthias, it seems like you have a really nice balance of experience, youth, Europe, the US players. Was that the primary goal, is to get balance? Because again, you have my favorite player with Benedict Ola. I just love his power, but it seems like you have to kind of mix some players around him in order to take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to discuss about Ola's playing level. His playing style is just amazing, and also as a person, he is really entertaining, and I think he's just very good for the league in general. But the other thing is that sometimes you need to get a little bit balanced out, and I think players who are very solid and stable in different ways helps him and also the team to get all of this in the right balance and right way. And so we decided to pick such players who make sure that the team is solid in general, on the table, beside the table, in many ways. And I think that's what we did.
All right, Matthias, thank you for the perspective. The Revolution have added the 3 players that they hope bring them back into the championship weekend mix in season 3. We're about midway through this third round, and the LA Spinners have made their third selection. Flint?
With the 24th pick of the draft, the LA Spinners have selected Marcos Madrid. Florida Crocs are now on the clock.
Marcos Madrid Mantilla from Mexico, 38-year-old right-hander. We have seen players from, North and Central America be strong contributors in this league. Sean, when you see Madrid, what comes to mind?
Well, again, just a lot of great experience coming from Mexico, multiple Olympian, hard fighter, team player. I think that's going to be the bottom line for a lot of the people that are being selected right now, is that are they going to fit in, fill holes, maybe be role players? But Marcos Madrid, excellent addition to the team. just a super individual. I think he's going to help the team in more ways than just on the table.
Roman Lawrence selecting 3 players from 3 different continents with his first 3 picks in the Season 3 draft. Still 2 more picks for the Spinners to make, but we forge on. Only 3 picks left in round 3, the next of which belongs to the Florida Crocs and Frank Arias. The pick is in. Flint Lane has the honor.
With the 25th pick, the Florida Crocs select Chi-Wei Ya, Texas Smasher on the clock.
Another Taiwanese lefty. It's Chi-Wei Ya. 35-year-old joins the Florida Crocs. And he'll be the second player that Arias adds to the team, along with Peiyu Zhu, joining Pitchford, Duran, Gorak, and Pereira. Still 2 picks left for Florida, Sean.
Yeah, so once again, check off the box for the lefty for potential doubles. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pitchford EA matchup becomes the starting one for their first matches. Still 2 slots left for Florida for Frank to complete the team. Again, kind of sad to see Matilda not there, but I think with Peiyu Zhu, I think that's going to be a very strong addition as well.
All righty, so that's where the Crocs stand through the end of the 3rd round. Florida, one of 2 teams that'll be picking in the 5th round of this draft, the Spinners being the other. The Texas Smash are now on the clock. They've got 2 spots left to fill, and one of them is about to be filled. Flint?
The 26th pick, the Texas Smash have selected
O from South Korea joins the Texas Smash. And we have seen Jorg often target some young players. Obviously Nandan has been an important player for this group. Sungwon Oh becomes the 3rd player selected by the Smash today. 1 more spot left to be filled. Sean, where do the Smash stand through the end of round 3?
I think they're looking really strong again with Montero. You've got the experienced player there, and then also with David Macbeth. I mean, he's now in Season 3, so he's going to be able to bring a lot of what we did successfully to become the champions in Season 1 to get to the finals in Season 2. I'm not as surprised to see a South Korean go to the Texas Smash.
All right, Texas will get ready for round 4. We got 1 more pick left in round 3. It belongs to the reigning champion. Someone once told me that the best thing about being a champion is you get referred to as the reigning champions for the entire next year. Let's find out who the reigning champion, Alex Yang, has selected with the 30th pick, Flint Lane. Or excuse me, the 27th pick, Flint Lane.
The 27th pick, the Carolina Gold Rush have selected Mohammed Shuman. The Blazers are now on the clock.
31-year-old Egyptian Mohammed Shuman joins El Sayed Lasheen as the 2nd Egyptian to be selected and play Major League Table Tennis. That rounds out the roster for the reigning MLTT champions. 3 picks joining the squad. Also, Wei Wong acquired in a trade this past week. Alex Yang, welcome to the show. How do you feel about your Season 3 squad as you look to go back-to-back?
Season 3 is a little difficult for us because we lost to previous MVP and current MVP player. And our draft position is very late, number 10, number 20, number 27. So, but I got very strong female and Sun Chen and 1 Hong Kong very strong international player, plus current players. For me, very important is every player is good relationship, so play all together. That's most important for the team. Why we can win second season? Because of that. So we will try our best to fighting to the end for Season 3.
Quick question. I haven't seen Showman play, who you just picked from Egypt. What should we expect for his style of play?
He sent me some video. He beat last year. He beat Lee Sang-soo, former Korean best player, and he said he beat some current MLTT players. And I saw one video. He is good. He's against he was Egypt national team player.
Alex, before we let you go, the Wei Wong trade, giving up Sid Naresh to get Wei Wong, what was the thought process for the Gold Rush in making that deal?
This season, the double gotta be changed, like open serve. So I tried to get as a double player as Sid. And One Way has defense player, so makes our team have different kind of style player. Left hand, lefty, righty, pen hold, short pips, defense. So
All righty. Well, hope you continue to enjoy the championship celebration. Hope it continues through the summer. Alex Yang, thanks for joining us, and I look forward to seeing your squad back on the table in season 3. Sean, that's it for round 3. We head to round 4. We're coming down the stretch. Only 7 picks left to be made, 5 in round 4, and then 2 in round 5. The first pick in the 4th round goes to the expansion Atlanta Blazers, and the pick has been submitted to the commissioner, Flint Lane.
With the 28th pick, the Atlanta Blazers have selected Cheng Ping Chang. The Los Angeles Spinners are on the clock.
Cheng Ping Cheng from Taiwan. First teenager selected in the season 3 draft, Sean O'Neill.
Yeah, so again, don't be surprised to see a player with great footwork, a lot of power, an advantage. Blazers are going to have one more pick in order to round out their team, but they're looking very young and hungry. Again, they've got some experience with Tom Feng, Olympian, so in addition to Ji-Wei Shaw. And again, young with Jeet Chandra during the expansion draft that they, not gonna say stole, but they got him from Texas.
Well, he was left unprotected, so they had every right to take him, and they were able to snatch the Indian player, former Smash. So one selection left to be made. There's the big board. The Slice not on the clock because their team is complete, as is Portland and Princeton. So it's the Spinners who are up next with 2 spots left to fill. 29th overall. There's the music. That means the pick is in. Let's find out. Flint?
With the 29th pick, the Los Angeles Spinners have selected Amareso Abasai. Florida Crocs are on the clock.
Marisa Avasai becomes the second Iranian player selected in an MLTT draft, joining Amir Hodai, who went in the first round last year, and Amir Hodai selected by the expansion New York Slice as well. So Abasai joining Robino, Choi, and Marcos as the first 4 selections that head coach Roman Lorenz has made. And we'll hear from Roman in a little bit, Sean. But the Spinners, I know you like the players they have coming back. How do these new players fit into the first ever Roman Lorenz version of the Spinners?
Well, the one thing we see in international table tennis is the players really have a unique country flavor. And Coach Roman has really gone out and made sure he has a variety of styles to choose from. So it would not surprise me if he has so many options going into each weekend to pick out players based on the teams that are going to play that have experience against the variety of styles that table tennis affords.
Yeah, right now 7 players from different countries on his squad, with Adi Serene originally being from Australia. He does live in the United States now. But yeah, an interesting. The Florida Crocs are up next. Frank still has 2 more picks to make as well. The last team with 2 vacancies on that roster. Arias working on filling it in. Pei Yu Zhu and Chiwei Ye so far from China and Taiwan, respectively. What, if anything, do the Crocs need to add with these next two picks?
I think really it's just dependability. I think with Andy Pereira coming from Cuba, we saw some issues there with him getting visas in order to compete. Daniel Gorak's not going to be an issue. Marcus Duran has been here all the time. Pitchford, what can you say? I mean, he's just an amazing player, first round draft pick from season 2. So I think Frank's looking just to fill some holes. He's got a strong female player. So I'm very interested in to see how Frank takes this next pick.
All right, 2 more picks for Frank Arias to make. After this selection, it'll be Texas and Atlanta closing out the 4th round. The pick is in. Let's find out who's joining the Crocs. Flint.
The 30th pick, the Florida Crocs have selected Asuka Sakai. Texas Smasher on the clock.
Asuka Sakai, another Japanese player. Got to get my trusty statistician to chronicle exactly how many Japanese players we've had. It feels like about half of the first 30 picks, Sean, have been Japanese players. It's not quite that many, but whereas it was just Koyo and Hiro in season 1, and then Satoshi joined them along with Kotomi Omoda in season 3, the roster of Japanese players is growing in Major League Table Tennis for season 3.
Well, Japan has one of the youngest and most dynamic leagues out there. So a lot of players are switching from the top Japanese league over to MLTT based on when we asked the players, how'd you find out about MLTT? They all said teammates. So they all want to come here. They all want to get a chance to shine like we've seen with Koyo and Hiro and Katomi. So I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of firepower out of the Crocs. Again, they're going to be led by Liam Pitchford, who is so solid both on forehand and backhand side. So Mark Duran, the two-handed backhand. I mean, Frank's going to have another team that's going to be quite exciting to follow.
Yes, like Spinners, the Crocs also currently with 7 players from 7 different nations all around the world. All right, the final 2 picks in the 4th round, the Texas and Atlanta, the Smash with their final selection of the draft, and it's in right now. Flint.
The 31st pick, the Texas Smash have selected Anirban Ghosh, and the Atlanta Blazers are on the clock.
So Jeet Chandra gets taken in the expansion draft, and York Bitsigayo selects Anirban Ghosh, the Indian, to replace his countryman. That rounds out the 8 players who will be on the Smash for season 3. Jorg Bitsigayo joins us now. Jorg, you were in an interesting position heading into this draft, considering you had multiple players selected in the expansion draft. I'm sure that created a little bit more work for you today. What has been kind of the process of planning, and take us through the 4 picks you've made and how they will add to Texas's chase for a championship in season 3?
Yeah, I mean, we had to start from scratch, right? We had left our 4 guys who we drafted already in season 1, and we had to build a new team. So we had to do our homework, as you guys already mentioned before. We really like to work with young players. So our selection process in the draft was also based on trying to find young players who are available or who we can help developing. And then our goal is to make some upsets, as we have done in the first 2 seasons. I think always everyone is wondering how Texas Smash is being competitive with this lineup. So that will be our job in next season too. This is how it goes. You know, the better you play, the later you get draft picks in the next season. That's fine. And we are trying to build up a new team for the future. We are happy with Joao Montero to get an experienced player with whom I worked already in the Indian League last summer. Very professional player, a left-hand player. He gives us some options in doubles. Same for Leo Gordon. Also a left-hand player, pen holder, different style, which I think especially in the Golden Camp can also create some headache for the opponents. And it gives us an option to build different doubles. Since we have to find a way to be good in doubles. That's always crucial, as we have seen in the league. And then, yeah, we got another two add-ons with a young Korean player, Seong, and then Anirban Ghosh, whom I also know from the Indian League. Very good guy. We had very good experience with G Chandra last season, so the Indians are promising players. And then, our job will be to group up and prepare for the upcoming season.
You're looking at this new format in doubles. How are you going to approach putting together the team? Have you had a chance to kind of work out the X's and O's to figure out perfect righty lefty? I mean, it's so unnew. It's new to everyone. What is your thought process of how you're going to get an edge going into the doubles?
Okay, so I mean, in our opinion, it's necessary to play with a lefty and a righty in doubles, especially since serve return can be played from all over the table, and you need visibility. With two righties, this could be problematic in regard to the positioning at the table. So that was our analysis from practicing this, and when we tried it out. So that's also why we were just hoping for getting good left-hand players to give us more options in doubles, and then we have to practice, as we have always done. We have to practice, we have to prepare, we need to take our time to get ready. That has always been our strength, and that's the only choice we have. And then with Guodong and Joao, we have two left hands, and we have some righties who are experienced in doubles. Is it Dave? Is it Hero? Anirban Ghosh is good in doubles too. So we will see. Let's see how we look in September, and then we have a couple of months to find our shape and form to be competitive.
Excellent. All right. Good luck in building your team and creating another squad that'll return to championship weekend for the third year in a row. Jorg Vitzigayo, the head coach
Lots of work ahead
of the Texas Smash. Lots of work ahead. No, you'll put in the work. All right. Only 3 picks left, and the final pick in the 4th round, or I should say the first pick in the 5th round, goes to the Atlanta Blazers. Final pick for Susie Battison is next. Flint?
With the 32nd pick, the Atlanta Blazers have selected Min-Young Lee. The spinners are on the clock.
All right. The Australian Min-Young Lee joins the Blazers. And the first version of the Blazers is on your screen now. Susie Battison, welcome to Major League Table Tennis. When you look at the roster you have compiled both during the expansion draft and here today, what makes you most proud and how do you feel about your team?
Hi, it is my first time joining MLTT, and I'm super excited and looking forward for the new season coming up. I think I did pretty good for my picks because I picked pretty much everybody I wanted, and most of the players that we do research and do our homework, watch our videos, and make sure they are able to commit most of the matches to build a strong team. And as you can see, some younger players as well, and I think they're strong and they're willing to fight for my team. So I am looking forward for the new season to start.
Susie, I think the question a lot of players will ask is, you went with Oshima in your first pick, sidestepping Koki Niwa. Did you just feel like that was going to be a better fit for your team?
Yes, I know I took Kayama as my lefty players, and I felt Oshima can also fight for his best and for the team, and Koki Niwa is also on my list, but I have to, I can't take both, so I have to take one. But I'm just happy to have Oshima for my team.
All righty. Look forward to seeing the Blazers take the table in September. Susie, congratulations on filling out your roster and look forward to seeing your Blazers compete this fall.
Thank you.
All right, coming down the home stretch here, Sean. Just 2 picks left. I'm sure there are a lot of players around the world perhaps hoping to hear their names called. Let's find out the penultimate pick in the draft. It belongs to the LA Spinners. The pick is in. Flint.
With the 33rd pick, the LA Spinners select Matilda Ekholm.
Well, certainly a player with which we have gained a ton of familiarity over the past 2 seasons. Matilda Ekholm, a member of the Florida Crocs each of the last 2 years, and she's selected with the 33rd overall pick, the first pick in the 5th round in season 3. So Mltt remains in MLTT. She will trade her Crocs gear for spinner's garb, as Roman Lorenz knows a little something about that. Did you get rid of all of your Gold Rush gear yet, Roman?
No, yeah, I'm ready for the next season. I had a really nice 2 years with the Carolina Gold Rush, and thanks to my teammates, thanks to my coach Alex. But yeah, that would be a cool and very fun experience for next season.
So, Roman, you scored the final point in the Golden Game to clinch the championship. How long did you celebrate? And then how quickly did you turn the page to the scouting reports for all the draft picks to try to fill out your new team?
I mean, we did celebrate the night after the match, and that was a great moment with all people from MLTT. That was great. But now I'm ready to focus on the coaching and ready to fight with my new team.
Roman, have you had a chance to speak in depth with all the players that came on the team? Because you're the new one joining the team, right? So with Cole, with Pishte, with Audi, what type of feedback did they give you welcoming you as their new leader?
Of course, I spoke to them and we spoke about different possibilities and picking players. So I asked them their thoughts. I was like, I have my idea, but I want also the feedback from them. And yeah, I think we have a good team, and I'm looking forward for the season. I'm looking forward to work as a coach with experienced players.
Roman, before we let you go, take us through the 5 picks you made. Give us a thought real quick on each of them and what you expect them to bring to your team.
I mean, I know most of them. Alex Robino is a good friend of mine, same generation. I know him for many, many years. I know that he will be available. He's playing in the French league. Great double players as well, so he's also an option. The Korean girl, I spoke to her, like she's very exciting about coming to the league. I think that she's probably one of the best female. She's also a lefty, so that was good. That was also important for me to have a second female player as Matilda Ekholm. She's also a US citizen, so she can be here one if she's not available. We never know. She's a female, she's US, so that was important for me to have 2 female and 3 US players. And Amir Reza is very weird style, and I think not many people are feeling comfortable playing with him. And Marcos Madrid, I also know him for many years, and yeah, great fighter, very good team spirits, and very risky game, so very dangerous, I think, for many, many players.
Awesome. Thanks for the perspective, Roman. Did you consider drafting yourself?
I did. Maybe I will play in the Golden Game only.
Roman, welcome to the coaching ranks after 2 strong years with the Gold Rush as a player, now representing the LA Spinners as the new head coach. Roman, thanks for joining us and thanks for the perspective. Sean, the hour plus has gone by fast. We got 1 pick left. It belongs to the Florida Crocs. The pick is in. Flint.
Final pick of the 2025 Major League Table Tennis Draft. The Florida Crocs have selected Angel Naranjo.
Angel Naranjo from Puerto Rico, 21-year-old, adds to the Latin American flavor on Frank Arias's team. Frank, you add 4 players today, joining the 4 players that you retain from last year. Always good to see you. Tell me about the process of planning for the draft, especially without a first-round pick, and how do you feel you maximize the value of the resources that you had to build the best version of the Crocs for next year?
Yeah, we're extremely pleased with the way the draft unfolded. Coming into it, we were in a little bit disadvantage of not having the first round, but we came with a strong plan and a clear idea of the kind of players we wanted to draft. players to bring competitiveness, exceptional skills, but also align with the culture and vision we're building for the team.
You know, definitely in Taiwan, Japan, you've got the Far East covered, and then you've also got such great European stars with Liam, Duran, Gorak, and also with the Cuban Pereira. Tell me a little bit about going with the Puerto Rican player, Naranjo. I've seen his results. He's an up and coming player. You must have seen him play a lot in order to make him be your final selection.
Yeah, I know Angel from a long time ago, since he was a kid, and I know father, and I know he's been training hard, and I think he's a dangerous player. Well, you'll see some of his results on upcoming season.
Frank, obviously you had to replace Matilda Ekholm, who was your female player the last 2 seasons, with Zhu. What should fans know about Zhu? How do you expect her to mix into your team?
She's a strong lefty player. She played in Spain, and she had very good results. She also qualified for the national tryouts in China. So she's a very strong player. We hope to get some good results of her.
Frank, before we let you go, just like speak for all the coaches. What's the next step? You've got your team together. You know you're competing, 3.5 months from now. How do you build to the start of the season going forward?
Yeah, we'll try to get I'm sorry. We'll try to get some feedback, more feedback from the players, and see how we can start building a cohesive team, and we'll see when we get together and how everything works out when we do the pairing for doubles and all those kind of stuff.
All righty, Frank, well done today. Best of
Thank you.
luck as you prepare for season 3. Thank you for joining us. All right, Sean, we began the day with 34 open slots. We congratulate all 34 players who are joining the Major League Table Tennis family for season 3. That obviously includes one player who's back from the first 2 seasons. Matilda Ekholm stands out among the 34 players selected as the only player with MLTT experience already. It's a little foolhardy to declare winners and losers from the draft in the minutes after the draft concluded, but your biggest takeaways as you look at the board, the first ever 10-team league in Major League Table Tennis after 8 teams the past couple of years. What stands out most to you, Sean?
Well, I think just initially, the number of Asian players that are joining the league here in season 3. Coaches really did their homework. They went deep. They got young guns that are ready to really go full force. I think also with the 2 expansion teams, with the Blazers as well as the Slice, they had more picks earlier on. So I think they had the benefit. Of course, Adam from the Slice, he loaded his team up during the expansion draft. Coach Susie took 3 and then was able to add 5. So I think that we had to say which team's got a slight edge. I'm going to go with the expansion. But my dark horses right now, looking at season 3, going to be LA and Texas. I think Coach Jorg does a great job of getting his young team ready for a full season, but I really like the experience of the LA Spinners. I think they've got a solid base and a lot of exciting players.
The fact that the Bay Area Blasters returned 5 players and had 2 first-round picks after coming off a third-place finish. What do you foresee for the Blasters in terms of their expectations and how they'll build their rosters next year?
I think it's all going to be about cohesion. A lot of different styles. I think Olympian Tim Wong is going to get them all on the same page, but it's going to take some work. I do like the fact that they kept El Said Lachine because he'll add a lot of experience. I just want to see Lily Zhang play a lot more. I think she should be the face of the league. I think what she brings to the table with excitement, sportsmanship, everything. I can't wait to see her out there playing, especially in front of her Bay Area friends and fans.
All right, the draft began with Yuya Oshima going to the Blazers, and then Kokiniwa picks second. Sean, before I let you go and before we wrap things up, what surprised you most about the draft? Did the first pick surprise you? Did anything else confound your expectations going in?
Just really think the number of Asian players. I mean, we've gone Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China. I mean, I didn't realize how big MLTT has grown in Asia, where it's really, those are the strongest leagues in the world. Of course, Europe has a long history, but if you look at the China Super League, you look at India, you look at Japan, look at South Korea, those are well-established leagues. And for MLTT to be able to take top players and move them over, a lot of them said they want to play in the US. That's one of their biggest goals. The European players we know want to come here, but it's really nice to see that the Asian players have been so receptive. And each one of their interviews where we had a chance to ask them, why do you want to play? They say they want to see the sport grow in the United States. So I'm really looking forward to some high level play, especially from the Asian players that were selected today.
We've got a great mix of players from all around the world, some of the top North American players, obviously, but it's fun to see the eclectic family grow every year. And this was fun to be a part of the draft experience for the second straight season. Sean, any final thoughts before we officially turn the page on season 2 and look forward to opening night in September?
Just a big thank you to Flint and the entire staff and team. Of course, to Evan, yourself, and Matt Hetherington. It's such a thrill to be part of this family, this journey, this process. I just can't wait to have the best seat in the house for season 3 starting in September.
All right, Sean, thanks to you as well. Look forward to being back along your side, guiding us through the season 3 MLTT experience. Thanks also go out to everybody behind the scenes who helped out with the technical work to get this production on the air today, and all the players for submitting applications to join Major League Table Tennis, the enthusiasm from around the world. It is really special to be a part of this league. Again, we congratulate the 33 new members of the MLTT family, along with the one returning player who was selected, Matilda Ekholm. Glad that she is back in the league as well. There it is, the 10 8-player rosters that will compete starting this September as season 3 of Major League Table Tennis gets rolling. But for the entire MLTT family and my broadcast partner, Sean O'Neill, I'm Evan Lepler saying so long for now. That's it for the season 3 MLTT draft of Major League Table Tennis. So long, everybody.